It's so great that they filmed this so early in the season before Janet and Jason, who thought they had all of Bravo figured out, they were going to run this network. They didn't have a chance to gauge fan reaction, and you're seeing it. But I caught him where he was trying to use deposition tactics.
He asked Jasmine, did you feel that you were being manipulated by people? I was like, objection, leading the witness.
Because she wasn't falling in line with their story.
It was nice to have them stand up for her. Yet at the same time, it's not their fight.
Instead of amplifying Jasmine's voice, they stole her story and made it all their own and put it in their own words and just added things. We gonna stir it up and do things our way. So if you wanna move, get out of our way. Hey.
It's the last Valley time for 2025, y'all.
God.
Sad.
I know. This show is really like grown. I know you have to like pry this out of me, but maybe next to Beverly Hills, this is my new fave.
What? Oh my God.
And that says a lot too, because not a single person on here can change my life. I don't care about the couchy Christmas party. Let's be the Jax's bar.
I think I'm having a stroke hearing that. Oh my God.
Don't worry, I'll still try to tie everything back to Beverly Hills this episode.
Oh my God.
Just so you guys don't feel like confused.
Right. Whereas like apparently there was a Time magazine. I'm not calling it an article. I'm calling it an op-ed saying that like basically the Valley should be gone. And I read part of it. I was like, what the fuck are they talking about? I was like, who wrote this piece of crap? Like,
and the premise, so you guys know, is that firing Jax wasn't enough. They want the whole show, because we talked about Jax needs to go.
Yes.
America talked about that. But she's like, that's not enough. This show needs to end.
Like it's so dark, it's so terrible. And like, look, I think there are issues with reality television. There's issues with Bravo. However, I want to go, well, then there's issues with human beings and humanity, like human society. Like, what is the number one sport in America? It's a sport where it's the NFL. It's where men run into each other and cause brain damage. Like, people got upset when they tried to like reform the rules so that men weren't getting hurt as poorly. I was like, another like popular sport, MMA. I was like, and then we try to watch like family friendly, like reality television show, like 13 Kids and Counting. And what ends up happening? Oh, turns out you've got a child predator as like one of the like these like humanity is dark and weird, like and desperate. I was like, this is like Jax Taylor is gross and is not good. And once they found out, they should have like shut it down earlier. But I was like, look, some of the stuff that people were like, it's so dark. I was like, have you read the Bible recently? Like, have you read the book of Job? Like, come on. Like, there's dark shit in humanity. Get over yourselves.
You know, if you don't want a show like this about suburban parents, then just go sit outside in the school pickup line. That's the entertainment you want. Just sit there with a Starbucks in your SUV and watch people take kids to and from school. Apparently, anything beyond that is too racy for this writer.
Oh my God, apparently so. But I don't think they've even sat in a school pickup line, because you wouldn't believe how angry mothers get. Yeah. Like you cut in front of me. Oh my, like, hello. Oh my gosh. Like, humans are just, we're wired for drama. We're wired for drama. Like, that's what we do. So I'm just saying, we all have our levels, you know, that we can take of it. And you just need to know your level. Like, obviously, I'm sorry, this person is just not up for Bravo.
Yeah. I'm almost wondering how much of a Bravo viewer this person is. Like, does she not know the history? I mean, I know. Okay, I'm going to bring it back 1 second. This will be my Beverly Hills mention for the episode. Does she not know the lore of Taylor and Russell Armstrong? I mean, she acts like she thought she was watching a show about cocktail parties and dresses or something. No.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Well, I do have a fun fact, at least, to like wrap up this
Mhm.
entire season. They are filming the reunion at CBS Radford Studios. So CBS Radford is in Studio City in the Valley. Like most of those like Valley shots that you see, those are of Studio City. It's a Ventura
Yeah.
Boulevard. That's most of it. Which is the kind of that and Sherman Oaks are kind of like the nice bougie parts of the Valley. And
What?
for
Oh. I was just saying
in
more
Encino.
youthful because I was like Encino, but that's Kyle's territory. We're
Yeah.
talking younger,
Younger,
cooler.
yeah, hip families, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the CBS Radford Studios, they film a lot of stuff, but it's a smaller studio right there. But for other reality TV watchers, this is where they film Big Brother. So this is the studio where the Big Brother house is. So if you're Big Brother fan, that's where Big Brother is filmed.
Is that like where the house is? Like the you know house, yeah.
Where the house, the quote unquote house is, yes, exactly. It's also been at CBS Television City before, but it's mostly at CBS Radford. So yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So if you're into Big Brother, there you go. There's another little tidbit for you. Well,
I guess we should dive into part 3 of the reunion now.
Let's do it. Let's do it. You know, I mean, we ended with a little overlap. Well, we began with a little overlap from the ending of the previous episode with basically Jason calling Danny a clown.
Yeah.
But not calling Jax out for being an abuser.
Not a word. Jax is somehow a victim of Danny. And I mean, the way they're going about it, we need Andy Cohen to come forward because Danny must have groped him too. I mean, just
must have.
This is where Janet goes into. There have been she just keeps escalating when her points don't stick. So now it's, well, there have been other women. Brittany, and then Brittany told me. Michelle told me. Brittany told me.
Right, exactly. It was. Why are you having Michelle say, well, Michelle, and then Michelle, well, Brittany? It's like, well, why didn't you just say Brittany? Why is this whole thing? Like, why can't Michelle either just say, well, I know because Brittany told me, or why didn't Brittany just stand up and say, well, Danny, you were really creepy at my birthday party the previous year, but I've held on to that for the last 12 months. Like, I don't know. And this is the thing. I don't like it when people make me defend men. Like, look, I always want to throw a man under the bus. Why are they making me defend Danny? I'm not even like a huge Danny fan. Like I'm not like, I don't hate Danny, but I don't necessarily love him. But I was like, God damn it, Janet and Jason and Jax, y'all are making me defend Danny.
Yeah. I mean, it just keeps, and Jason is there now Jason is trying to find some, oh, by the way, let's start right there. Jason was saying that everyone has a drinking problem now. Right. Everybody. He's just like, these two, Janet and Jason, are trying every angle. And so like Janet's flopping. So he's trying to come in with some alternative angle. What do you like?
It was so funny when he said that too. Like everybody was like, excuse me? Even Jax was like, what? Like, wait a minute. I thought you guys were leaving me out of, that was the look on his face. Like, wait, you're supposed to leave me out of this. I'm not an alcoholic. It was like, well, dude, you went to rehab. Like, yeah. But I was like, what? And then of course he was like, Danny was like, well, do you have an issue? And he was like, well, it's a battle for me. And I was like, well, okay. Are you projecting then?
Yeah.
I don't know, Jason. Are you? Like, I don't know. This is all weird. It's just very, very weird because everything we're talking about happened off camera, which doesn't mean it didn't happen. Obviously, nobody's saying that the Halloween incident with Jasmine and Melissa did not happen. Everybody's saying it did happen.
Right. Danny and Nia say it happened.
Yeah. It's just that it keeps being brought up, not by the victims of it, but by other people. Mm-hmm. Like people who are not involved in it. Jasmine and Melissa don't keep bringing it up. It's somebody else. Like, and I'm a social justice warrior, but if the victim doesn't want to talk about it, then the victim doesn't want to talk about it.
Right. I mean, they get into it later too, where, as to say it now, since we're talking about it, Jasmine, well, confiding in Janet, Janet took her story and changed the message. That's kind of that. I forgot how she worded it, but it was what Janet's saying wasn't how I felt, and she's speaking about my experience.
I think I have that written down later on.
Yeah.
So when we get there, then I have the writing. I just don't want to jump ahead.
Yeah. We get confused.
We confuse ourselves that way too much. Well, but then it's interesting. They have that whole then discussion of like, well, he does, which we've had about Shannon before, of like, is Shannon an alcoholic or does she have a drinking problem? That whole thing. And so they kind of have that discussion of like, well, we don't think Danny's an alcoholic. We think he has a drinking problem. And then Jason says, well, it's a problem. A drinking problem would be a whole, he says, a problem would be a whole storyline about my drinking on a TV show. And I was like, but you guys are the one who made it a storyline for him.
Mm-hmm.
Because he admits he didn't drink like half the season. And the thing was, they did this cutaway. And there's sometimes I do have an issue. I don't know whether these cutaways to other cast members on the couch are in the true timing of the show, but because they can be, as an editor myself, I know that there's sometimes you take a look that might have been like a few seconds later from another time, you'd be like, oh, well, this is a perfect look for right now. Now it could be true that this person made that look at that time, but they don't have it on camera or on film, but I don't know. But Jax made this smirking look, and it was kind of that duper's delight look of like, the Capernas are doing my dirty work.
He was satisfied. He was like,
yeah. That's what I took. If that is like veritable, that look was happening at that moment. So that was my thought.
They also I enjoyed Jason being in the hot seat. That brought me a lot of joy.
About time. About fucking time.
They move on to the ring. The ring tattoo, that stupid thing. And like you said just now, they created this, something gets discussed once and it's over. They repeat it 20 times and then one get upset that it's a storyline, or they're like, you made the story.
You made it. Well, I mean, Andy said he was surprised they got tattoos after not caring about these rumors, like weeks later. Andy's calling you out on this.
Yeah. Kristen was the best. Kristen was enjoying this. She said, I gave you a storyline. She's like, you should thank me. She said, you used it to be relevant. Fine, they're not relevant. And also, when she said Kristen was attacking their marriage by saying that, Kristen said, no one cares enough. Fans don't care enough about your marriage to care.
We don't.
You built it up to seem important.
Yeah.
She's a fan with no fans. Been saving that one for a while.
Do it. Well, during that time, actually, while oh my God, I almost called her Tamara because of my note here. While Janet was justifying getting the ring tattoos to Andy, the way that she was talking about it, all I could just hear in my head was the way that Tamara Judge justifies things in her head. Like that, it just sounded similar to me. I was just like, oh, this like roundabout, the more I talk about, I'm just going to make it sound like it should be normal. Like this is a logical argument that I am giving you as to why. Not really. Like, fine. If you want to try to sell it to us that way, fine. But like, don't say that you're so lackadaisical and you're so comfortable in your marriage, Janet, that you don't believe these rumors, and then go get a tattoo, then go tattoo your wedding rings on yourself and then make it a whole storyline that you're so upset about these rumors.
Oh yeah, she's going both ways with it. We don't care. We laughed it off. We had to get the tattoos to prove, but no, we just did it for fun. Also, again, we don't care, but you ruined our lives and we hate you and we can't forgive you. They're trying every angle to be a reality star. like reality stars, and they're going like Kristen said last episode, and we've been saying all season, testing different characters, testing different Bravo villains to figure out what their angle is.
Yep. Well, and also then Jason lies, and he says that they weren't going after Kristen, but the show or editing shows that they were that otherwise. Like the emphasis on Jasmine was very short lived, and he can say whatever he wants to say. Like maybe he was more upset about Jasmine doing that, but saying it in the first place to Kristen. But that was just a small part. That it was the Kristen part that just kept getting brought up over and over again. After Kristen had already apologized, after Kristen admitted that she said it just to be a bitch, in her own words, she was like, I was just trying to be a bitch. I was upset that you were hurting my friend, that you were being mean to my friend, and I was just trying to get back at you. She admits it. Which is big of her. I will say this though. So I thought it was kind of funny though, that Jasmine was saying that on the beach, in the beach conversation between her and Jason, that she started calling Janet a Karen and getting so mad at her was because Janet was standing to the side calling her a snake and a liar. And then Janet was like, no, I didn't. And they were like, and Jasmine's like, 10 toes down. Yes, you did. Let's roll the tape. Da, da, da. And they rolled the tape, and she didn't do that. Janet actually did not say that. In fact, it was Jason who later called her a snake, but not in that moment, called her a snake later. And I will say this, though, is that earlier on at the end of last episode, Jasmine repeats something that she misheard from the after show, when Danny said she keeps bringing it up, and he was talking about Janet, and Jasmine thought that he was talking about her. And it seems that this seems to be a pattern with Jasmine of kind of mishearing things and then seeing red and kind of going after it. Now, I like Jasmine a lot, but also like, have you guys seen her on The Bachelor? Like, she kind of did the same thing. Like, so I think sometimes she has like maybe either a listening problem, or maybe it's a trauma response to something, of like, she hears something and instead of like processing it all the way, it starts to process partially, and then she sees red and just goes for it. So I'm just going to put it out there, and I don't know if I believe it or not, but maybe she did mishear the original ring rumor, because she said she heard it at a night out with a bunch of the Caperna's friends where they weren't there. And these friends say that they did not say that. Maybe she did mishear it. The only reason I'm going to say that maybe she didn't is because I think Melissa's standing behind her and saying that was said at that time too. So I don't know. But Jasmine does seem to mishear things at times.
And play both sides.
Yes.
I mean, it's kind of messy. She's not the best messenger when you see she switched. They should have had a seat for her on each couch.
Yeah.
Because she just kind of...
I liked it at the end when Zach was like, can I sit on that couch like the other couch? I was like, yeah, you and Michelle should have been on different couches.
This is where, though, with Jason... This is where, first of all, I was dying. He was literally saying that his wife has been a scapegoat. He's watched the season. She's done nothing wrong. Not a single person on that set agreed with him.
No,
and
they're all like, are you watching the same show?
Who was it, Kristen or maybe Danny or Nia? One of them was like, you are watching your wife on...
And what was Danny.
Yeah.
And he was Danny.
And what he's doing here, Jason, the attorney, is treating Janet. He's trying to be her lawyer. He's trying to defend her in the way a lawyer would for the client. And it's, my wife has done nothing wrong. You know, just blindly, which is what a defense attorney's job is. But I caught him where he was trying to use deposition tactics that lawyers use. To manipulate Jasmine into thinking she had been manipulated by Kristen.
Yeah, he was doing lawyer speak for sure. Yeah.
He was doing that like, are you sure you weren't manipulated? He was trying to get her comfortable, to drop her guard, and
well,
he was trying to get a soundbite out of her.
He was saying he asked Jasmine if she felt that she was being manipulated by people this season.
Mm-hmm.
And Kristen caught on immediately. She's like, "You mean me?" And then Luke was like, "Shh." Like, what? It's like, no. Did you feel that you were being manipulated by people? I was like, objection, leading the witness.
Because she wasn't falling in line with their story.
Mm-mm.
And then what he kept trying to do, and also with the drinking thing earlier, when he was like, well, don't we all have drinking problems? He was trying to create sound bites that he could use to confirm his version, Janet's version of the truth.
Well, plausible deniability was what he was trying to create. Like, so, well, at least for, maybe that's not the right word. That, anyway, never mind. Well, during the little break, did you notice that Janet kisses Jack's ass by saying, he's like, I don't think that you have a bald spot. Like, he's like, yeah, I do. And I was like, oh, look at you, just
it's so great that they filmed this so early in the season, before Janet and Jason, who thought they had all of Bravo figured out, they were going to run this network. They didn't have a chance to gauge fan reaction, and you're seeing it. The way they sit there so smugly, they thought America would be on their side. Everyone would rally around them.
Yeah.
And that this was Jack's redemption arc. They were going to be,
And I also see it like, because they have the package where like Jasmine and Janet are talking about their friendship and how she's feeling like it sucks because they've been friends like an extremely long time before the show. And like, that's really tough. And I had a thought and it just literally left my head what I was going to say about it. But I can get how Jasmine feels at this hard part, and I feel like actually it'll come up a little bit later, that like it was nice that to have the Capernas defending her and Melissa, like having them stand up for her, yet at the same time it's not their fight. Like you need to be support, you need to be the wind beneath their wings, not their actual wings.
They were instead of amplifying Jasmine's voice, they stole her story and made it all their own and put it in their own words and just added things.
Isn't that what we call appropriation?
Yeah.
Just saying. Anyhow.
What else is there?
Well, they brought it back to Jax finally. I think he took a. Did we say this in the first one? I feel like he took like maybe a Xanax or an Advil or something like that.
This episode in particular, he was zoned out. First I was like, oh, is he playing like sad, broken little boy? But no, he wasn't fully understanding things. He was on something. I think he also was upset that it wasn't all about him. That there was, because he was out of most of the season. So there was all these storylines that happened without him. So there was plenty to talk about in this reunion that did not include him. Yeah.
At all. And so he's just sitting there disinterested and bored, because if it's not about him, then the fuck.
As Brittany says in this segment, because they're talking about leaving rehab and Jax's bar, she says Jax was gone for 30 days and no one missed him on the show.
No one missed him.
That's probably, she could leave him, she could take custody of the kid, but to say no one cared about him, that is where he spirals.
I mean, I love it because they talk about, Andy brings up, the whole, when he said to Zach at Benji's party, it's my show. He was like, I thought you would have learned that you saying that to LVP was the beginning of the end right there. Like, and he's like, yeah, but he's like, none of this, it's true. None of this would have happened if I hadn't started it up. And also Andy asked the Cassie, like, has Jax ever told anyone, referred to the show like that, that it's his show? And every one of them raised their hand. Even Janet said, we're lucky to be here.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. Yeah. Bye-bye,
Lessons have
Jax.
not been learned.
No.
That is for sure.
You know what? Thank God and good riddance. Bye-bye. I'm glad he's not changed because I don't want to see him anymore.
What else was there? They dive into Hawaii.
Oh, can we go back real quick? Mm-hmm. Because there was something I was very kind of surprised about was that Zach saying that he used to be the biggest Jax apologist. I was surprised by that because we didn't know that relationship beforehand. Like we weren't privy to that. We've only basically seen it since not since they split, but like since last season, and that things were already going downhill. So like for him to be like, you're so dismissive of me now, you're so rude to me now, like the way Jax is like, you are nothing, and you know I already have my opinions about another reason he's like that to him, but like I was very surprised to hear Zach say, I really like basically rooted for the two of them. I rooted for you, Jax. We were all rooting for you. And for him to now be like, but I get though, Zach, of like, when you're done, like, bye-bye, out of here. Like I tried and I spent all my last fucks on you. So
yeah, we always knew him on the show as Brittany's friend. I didn't realize, I mean, obviously as a couple, you know the couple, but I didn't realize it was a three-way dynamic. I just thought it was like Brittany would, you never saw Jax and Zach interact really. I just thought it was Brittany. He was Brittany's friend, like for nights out or whatever. Like I didn't realize he was part of their home.
I mean, well, but also again, I still think that Jax is kind of homophobic and like didn't see Zach as an equal, and probably actually, as you're saying, he probably did just see Zach as Brittany's friend.
Yeah.
And like, and probably Zach thought it maybe was more of a relationship. I don't know. The way he can like just be so rude, like what did he do to you?
Yeah,
Jax
supported Jax's victim. That's what he did to Jax.
Exactly. All right, now on to Kristen's proposal and the Maui trip.
I'm surprised they didn't dive into this a little more because I was proud of Andy for bringing it up. They're talking to Luke and about planning the trip to Hawaii for the proposal, and how Luke said that he didn't tell Brittany. Brittany wasn't included because he knew she'd go and tell Jax, which is exactly what she did. And Andy straight up asked Brittany if she did that out of spite. Because obviously she was clearly upset that she wasn't included in the proposal. Then she ran and told Jax and did that whole, oh, I just got so confused. I got a case of the vapors. I lost my... That's my Southern belle. But which I don't, the way I don't buy. I think Brittany there's a mean streak to Brittany. Maybe she wasn't the meanest in her marriage, but she's not as innocent. She's been on reality TV a decade plus at this point. She's not stupid. She knows what she's doing.
Yeah, I'm divided. I mean, I could see her doing it for revenge. I can also see her being purposely careless with her words. You know, just not, because there's sometimes you shouldn't be saying something to somebody and you're in your head and you're like, don't tell them this, tell them this, and to keep yourself from doing it. Whereas opposed to like sometimes you're like, oh, fuck it, whatever.
Yeah. I think there's a pattern with her where she's always conveniently oblivious when it's like, oh, I didn't. And I don't mean she was trying to sabotage their relationship, anything like that. But I do think her feelings were hurt and she wanted to. Because it's always conveniently, oh, she didn't hear that. Or, oh, she forgot that. There's a lot of that.
It could have also been some subconscious, sabotage too, like where she was hurt and she like consciously she wouldn't have done that, but like in a way she's like, I didn't think that Jax would do that. It's like, well, you know that Jax will do that.
Mm-hmm.
But
Luke
like,
knew that Jax would do that.
exactly. Luke did the right thing. I mean, and that's the thing, is that if Brittany hadn't proved Luke correct, then I think Brittany might have more of a leg to stand on and be like,
Mm-hmm.
well, I didn't do it. But because she proved Luke right, well then, like,
Yeah.
sorry, Britt.
Yeah.
But also when Andy was praising Zach for all the work that he did for, schlepping all this stuff, switching the rooms, getting everything ready, getting the luau ready, like Andy's like praising Zach for all of that, and Zach's getting all his flowers for it. There was a cut again. I don't know if it was at the moment, but I think it was. There was a cut to Jax being so jealous that Zach was getting all this attention, and I was just like, I mean, fuming. Oh God, I loved it. I loved every bit of it.
Yeah.
And then Andy got all sentimental about Kristen's like growth, and I thought that was really sweet. I kind of got a little teary.
I did. I kept thinking in my head, if opinions match up, they clearly listen to PCP. It's just the way it is. And we've been talking since day one about Kristen's growth from a caterpillar, from a chain-smoking caterpillar into the Mariposa.
See, this is why you watch shows like this, so that you do hopefully see people grow and change. Like, and that you also see, because another thing too is that, because also later on Jason says some good things, and I go, because as human beings, we are complicated characters of our own lives, and we are not all good or bad. We are different shades of it, except for Jax. He's just pure evil. Yeah. But like, all of us are different. Even Janet, because I say, like, there's sometimes I agree with Janet. Like, Janet's not a bad person per se. I'm sure she's like a really good mother, and just like she will give, like, she doesn't like Kristen at all, but she'll say to Kristen, like, I know that Kristen's going to be a good mom. She could, like, that's a nice thing. Do I think it's manipulative? Yes. Would I be friends with Janet? Absolutely not. But you hope to see people grow. And I would have never said back in 2013 that I would ever think that I would enjoy watching Kristen Doute on my television being pregnant and engaged and as a calmer individual, yet still find her interesting. Like, I would still think that she needed to be drunk and smoking cigarettes and yelling at Tom Sandoval about cheating.
How much longer? I don't know the post-birth guidelines before she can get back into drinking and smoking, though. This is just for like our I don't think she smokes
anymore, but well, the drinking, well, I don't know, because I mean, I've been around plenty of mothers, plenty of postpartum friends. I mean, you can start drinking pretty soon. In fact, actually, beer helps your milk come in. But you just have to like pump and dump. And
yeah,
in the 70s, they were giving birth with ashtrays next to them. So,
in my baby book, there's a menu from the hospital for the new parents, and it includes champagne. Like, my parents, I guess they got a bottle. It was like, it was nice, man. It looked like something from like first class in like an old style Pan Am flight. It's like steak and lobster. It's pretty cool. Yeah. I don't know. I just hope I got a little nervous there when you were discussing wholesome Kristen. I do.
Well, no, she's not. I mean, she still causes drama, and she still enjoys being a bitch at times. Like, so, like, I like that,
Did you catch? She was making fun of herself a lot here. Like, back when they were talking about Jason's ring rumor, and Jasmine was like, "Why would I make that up? That is such a," she said, "that is such a whack rumor," and Kristen laughed and said, "I could have made it much worse. I would have done much better."
Yeah. She's like, I would have made a much better rumor. Like, hello. Exactly. Oh, and then there was a bit about like Jesse confronting Aaron and Maui. And then that was kind of like whatever. Again, watching like Aaron, I'm sorry, lie. Like, that was just, I was like, no. But I do wonder how Jesse and Michelle's relationship is now that Aaron is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's got to change the dynamic because, as we said before, we think that in some ways Jesse was pissed off that she left him and then was
Mm-hmm.
immediately in a relationship. That he felt replaced. Even though he was in a relationship, there's just a different thing. Like sometimes with men. So I wonder how he feels. I wonder if he feels vindicated and like he can like hold something over her head.
I was gonna say I hope we'll find out, but we don't know the casting yet. I was gonna be like, I wonder if that'd be one thing to play off for next season to play off of. Mm-hmm. Or a reason to keep Michelle, even if it's just as a friend of, or like one of those cameo sit downs.
God, I really wish their like breakup was on camera.
Mm-hmm. See, we got robbed.
Oh wow, man.
What else is there? Oh, they go into in my notes. I put Kristen on Janet Fannett.
There we go. There we go. Oh well, I do think it is interesting because she is talking about that. There's kind of, I think it's very easy, and I would probably do it if I was Kristen too, to like poke at Janet that you're a fan. Like that's how you came into this group. You're a fan. Da da da. Like that's what I would do too. But that Kristen is like more like, look, I was taking it to be like Kristen wouldn't bring that up if Janet wasn't being such a dick and wasn't such a different person now that she's on television.
Mm-hmm.
That she doesn't quote unquote alter ego, and Kristen really did seem hurt to be like, I'm watching last season, the first season, and seeing your confessional, like talking about my ex-boyfriend when Jax brought him in, and you're throwing me under the bus, saying things about that I said about that relationship that I never said when you were like my best friend when I was going through this breakup and this horrible relationship and all of these things. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And then Danny and Nia were like, seemed like half the cast was like, yeah, you're different now.
Yeah, Kristen, I know I keep bullying Janet, calling her a fan, but Kristen wasn't just pointing that out like you don't count, you were a fan. It's part of the broader picture, which is that Janet's someone else on TV. That's where she's going with it, that she studied and created this character. It's not just because everyone else, I'm sure Zach was we know Zach was a major fan too, but Janet's completely flipped because of it. So
yeah, exactly. Like, look, we could say Zach was a fan. We could say, Jasmine's been on 2 other reality shows before this. Like, Danny was an actor, and he's a current voice actor. There's a lot of stuff that like, it's just something, it's a card to pull when you don't like somebody or when you're mad at somebody. And that's what Kristen's using it for. But I do think I think her gripe with Janet is legitimate, is that you are a different person. The person who was a quote unquote fan, who got a picture with Sheena and became friends with Sheena and became our friend in the friend group, is now on television and is now a different person. And that's crappy.
I did crack up when Janet was like, you make it sound like I had good as gold posters around my childhood bedroom.
That was funny, but that was also another Tamara Judge moment. Like that's what Tamara would do, would be like, it's this kind of like whataboutism. Like you make it seem like this or like that. And it's like, no, that's not what they're saying, but that's a good deflection or a good distraction or a good way to say like, well, I'm not this type of person. No, you don't have to be that type of person. You can be many other different types of people. So yeah. Well, and then they get back into the Janet saying that Danny essayed and Jasmine and Melissa.
This is where, because it happened earlier, it wasn't sticking, so she has a new angle. And this time when the Danny versus Janet comes up, now she's a feminist, she's a martyr, and she's doing it for the sake of all women. She quotes Jasmine as saying, I'm sick of stupid men getting away with it or something. So
Mm-hmm.
now her angle is shift from Danny needs to be accountable to I'm doing this to all men on behalf of all women. It was like she
Mm-hmm.
was just going for the
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was
And again, don't make me defend a man. Like, God damn it, Janet. Damn it, Janet.
yeah.
I don't love you. Like, also, it was, she used that term, and then it comes out afterwards. Jason's like, well, really, it's more like S battery instead. Like, that's it. And I actually went online and I looked it up. It is S battery, because if it was SA, that involves penetration, unwanted penetration, whereas S battery
Oh.
involves unwanted touching. Yes. So even then, so actually, Janet did not use the correct technical term. She was
Right.
escalating
Her
her
big
language.
defense.
Like,
Yeah.
you were
That's what she
you
does
were
with
close,
everything.
but you were escalating it. You're no better than Kristen in that sense then, in exaggerating. I will say this. Kristen was like, I'm a truth teller. I don't exaggerate. And I was like, no, you do exaggerate, Kristen. We love you, but you do exaggerate. Like,
I did like the
no.
way she took credit. She's like, I like to get to the bottom of things by sticking my nose in other people's business. Like she at least knows
Yes.
that part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Our
But
self-aware queen. I love it.
yeah,
Yeah.
but this was like this was Janet. Every 10 minutes Janet is relaunching. This is the new rebranding of
Mm-hmm.
Janet. Now she's a feminist icon, a martyr, a savior. She was gonna take Danny down on behalf of all women. Um
Mm-hmm.
and this is where
Yep.
Jasmine said that maybe Janet was trying to be a friend to her in the beginning, but she took her message and turned it into something she didn't feel or agree with.
Yeah. Yeah. And this was like kind of like side talking with Zach, and like, to be honest with you, I kind of didn't like how Jasmine wasn't standing up for how she felt about the situation.
Mm-hmm.
She's saying it to Zach, like, she knows that she's Mike, so she knows it might be used, what she's saying to Zach. But Zach is almost kind of like, well, like, you can be thankful that they said this, but like, she's using you.
Mm-hmm.
She's using what happened to you for her storyline. Like, why are you letting that happen? Like, it's not your fight. It's not their fight. And
Yeah.
yeah, I just was like, Jasmine, I don't like, you could tell she didn't know. Maybe next season she'll have a, I feel like this is really hard for me to say, but I'm going to say it, that she'll have a stronger backbone when it comes to Janet. Like,
Yeah.
because I think you have to, somebody like Janet. Like, I would not have expected last season's Nia to be this season's Nia when it came to Janet. Like, I wouldn't have expected Nia to have this strong a backbone against Janet, but she does. She was like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not fucking taking this from her. Whether you agree with Nia or not, that's completely different. But
Well,
like, she had one.
that what you just brought up with Nia made me think of something, and I put it in all caps in my notes here. Once again, Janet, like I was saying, she's now switched to this is a moral issue and she's doing it for other people. Last season, and into this season, her big gripe against or accusation against Zach has been that she feared for the safety of her child, her
Mm-hmm.
pregnancy. And do you see what she's done this entire third episode? She's stressing out and yelling and fighting with two women in their third trimester.
Exactly. She doesn't give a shit about pregnant women.
Yeah.
No, she doesn't give a shit about their babies. She doesn't give a shit.
It's
And
all a
they're also
cover.
not, and she weaponized, and like we said, she weaponized her pregnancy last
Mm-hmm.
season, like, against the cast. And and Nia and Kristen could have weaponized their pregnancy on the couch there. And we didn't see that. Like, and
No.
editors definitely would have put that in there. Like, there's one point where Nia was like, I might get contractions, and then Danny tells her to calm down, and she's like, don't fucking tell me to calm down. Which I was like, you tell him, don't you dare tell a woman to calm down. Like, you calm down, motherfucker, if you got a 8-pound baby sitting inside of you. Like, it's like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Rules for thee, but not for me. And then also, I mean, I did find, going back to the terminology thing, Andy calls out, he's like, why use the term if nothing would actually ever happen to Danny? Because he asks Jason, he was like, would anything have happened? Like, if they tried to press charges, would anything have happened? And he was like, I doubt the DA would have taken it up. He's like, well, then why use that terminology if nothing's going to happen? And I get it, because I do think that, like, putting it in perspective and maybe scaring Danny in a way to, like, you shouldn't put your hands on women. You should watch yourself. You should watch your drinking. And I think that is important. I think that actually is something. So maybe to, like, scare him a little bit. But I think the way it's been taken on camera in public, absolutely not. Like, they've really escalated this in a way that wasn't right. And it's backfired for most of them. So,
right.
And then Janet tries to make it Danny's fault that Michelle was called a whore on television.
That was the biggest jump. Once again.
Such a reach. I was like, are you serious? Her ex-husband put that in. He didn't call her a whore. Her ex-husband called her a whore several times on television. I was like, he mentioned what was said in the boys' chat to Luke when he thought he was off camera. Oh my God.
These two, these Capernas.
I have to look it up. You keep talking, because I got to look something up.
What are you looking up?
Well, so everybody was like, oh, we don't think, because I was like, I don't think that Danny actually knew that he was being filmed when he said that to Luke. Like, yeah, he had a mic on him, but sometimes he
thought it. He didn't. I remember that scene, and it was.
Well, that's what he says, but a lot of people don't believe him.
Yeah.
But there is a creator on here. Okay, what is her name? Okay, so her name is. She's on TikTok, and her handle is Live Behind the Scenes. Hold on, Behind the Scenes Bestie, and she's a former reality TV producer. And she's basically said exactly what I was thinking in my head, is like, because people are like, Danny was an actor, like, but when you're acting, the cameras go down, the cameras stop, like they stop, but they're not processing stuff. Reality television is completely different. Sometimes they put the camera down and they're still rolling, because they want to catch stuff off camera. They want to catch you because it's still a hot set, and because of the way that those your contracts are written, like, you're really not off camera until you are demiked and offset and everybody's gone and all of that stuff. So it is easy to forget. And you hear it a lot of times from people in the industry, not just on camera talent, but that people forget about the cameras. People forget that they have a mic on them all the time. So I do believe that Danny did think that he was just having a quiet conversation with his friend. He was like, you wouldn't believe what is in this boys chat, like that Jesse said about Michelle. And so people don't have to agree with me, and that's totally fine, but I believe Danny in that instance. And so Janet reaching, being like, oh, it's Danny's fault. No.
Not Jesse's fault. Not Jesse's fault.
Jesse planted that because he wanted that in the show. Somehow he was going to make it happen on the show.
Yeah. I remember when Nia called Danny over. Yeah. She's like, it was at Janet's birthday, wasn't it? Dave and Buster. She's like, get over here. He knows he's in trouble. He's like, yes, Mom.
I love how she calls him Daniel.
See, that's something they don't get too. Which I like strong Nia. I like, she can go from like that sweet pageant bunny rabbit to like, shut your mouth, Danny. Just don't speak until spoken to. Like,
she's gonna be a Heather Dubrow. She's gonna be talking about their stock portfolios. Tell me how many bathrooms we have in this house, Danny.
5 bedrooms. 5 bedrooms. Oh, by the way, when we were talking, I see now. I feel like Kristen must listen to us too. Everyone just listens to us.
They do. They
Because
do.
when she blurted out, even though obviously this film months ago, but I guess it just means we're all soulmates and in sync and simpatico.
Wow. Yeah.
When they're talking about the technicalities of the legal definition of what Danny did,
Mm-hmm.
and then I think Andy defers to Jason, like, well, is it this or that? Kristen blurts out, he's a workers' comp lawyer.
I know.
And he had to defend himself. He's like, well, I did go to law school. Like,
I mean, it's true.
Yeah, that's where I picked up on the depot thing, because to be honest, workers' comp attorneys they're not trial. Workers' comp is usually a dispute that gets settled in mediation with like depositions and stuff. He's not Jack McCoy in Law and Order. So that's why I was like, it's a lot of conference calls. That's about what it is.
Lots of conference calls, lots of depositions, lots of court filings, filing motions.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a lot of what that is.
Oh, and watching that and watching Kristen call Jason out cracked me up too, because this is where Janet and Jason's exaggerated confidence throughout this season and sitting at this reunion so smug with the moral superiority, and Jason's basically the only one with like a traditional education career. You know what I mean? He's an attorney. They thought they were the smartest couple in the room. And when he was using those kind of attorney tactics to try to change conversations around, what he doesn't realize is the alums of Vanderpump Rules were once feral humans. They're not going. They're not responding to textbook arguments and citations from like a court case. And he couldn't keep up with them.
And honestly, neither is the audience. Too, like neither is the audience. The audience is not filled with lawyers or attorneys or judges. Like that's not what's happening here. I was thinking about this was a shower thought this morning, was I actually am, because I was thinking about last week when we were talking about him being on the show, and I think you said that you wouldn't be surprised if he kind of like gets out of being an attorney, if this becomes his
the fame is drawing him and he's going to take a break from law.
Exactly. Well, and I don't think that's a big reach, because lawyers don't usually get involved in being on reality television shows. They really don't. First of all, when you're given a reality television show contract, they don't want you to send it to your lawyer to look at, because they don't want you to read that thing redlined, because basically they own you in so many ways. Like there's just so much. Like I would never be on a reality television show. Like absolutely not. But so the fact that a lawyer, doesn't matter that he was a workers' comp attorney, like he went to law school, as he's, he passed the California bar. The fact that he is on the show, just like I sometimes can't believe that Emily is on the show and Shane are on the show.
Well,
but obviously,
look at Emily and Shane. They take turns backing away from law, but
well, she hasn't practiced law in so long. Like she really was an event planner when she like started. So now she basically does like pro bono charity law work now. And they have family money, but that's for the OC episode that you guys can watch and listen to on Mondays. But like, yeah, I just think that like this is if it all works out right for them, or they're thinking in their head, like he can get out of being a lawyer, because it's a grind to be a workers' comp attorney, though, too. Is a grind,
right? It's not a grind. It's not the TV law. This is cubicle law.
It's also not personal. It's not personal injury attorney law too. Like it's not like it's not huge bucks. It's not small bucks, but it's not huge bucks. Like the percentage that you get out of workers' comp is not as big as what you get out of personal injury. So like, I just think that I'm just surprised that a lawyer would go and be a co-lead on a show like this. Because it's one thing if you're like, oh, I'm just going to go be a contestant on the British baking show. I mean, granted, that's Britain,
Mm-hmm.
so that's different legal stuff. But you get what I'm saying. Like, it's just a one season competition, cute baking show. Like, if you're going to be on like worst cooks in America, that's a little
Mm-hmm.
different, something like that. But this multi season, a small cast, like you're a co-lead, that's what they would call you. Like,
Yeah.
that's a lot. That's a lot riding on that.
And this reunion, he's pushing himself into being full time.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I see it. He's amped up.
Yeah.
He is I mean, I get the like blindly defending his wife. Okay.
Yeah.
That is
Mm-hmm.
fine. But I think he overestimated, like I said earlier, and he thought, I'm a lawyer. I'll take care of you. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Do you think Jax gives a damn about, well, Jax wasn't attacking them, but you know what I mean. Do you think any of these people are gonna like listen and be like, oh yes, you are right, Jason Caperna, Esquire, code 1932 dash C, clearly. And they're running circles around him. I can see when they're like, he says something and he kind of smirks and then he looks deflated. They just like Kristen's like, anyways. There's a
Yep.
lot of like, anyways, Jason, back to the people who matter.
Yep. Well, back to the people who matter. The very ending of the show. Because who gives a shit about the final thoughts? Let's talk about the Zen Party, the finale party. Okay, Zach was screaming at Brittany. Apparently, they're fine now. They're all good. They're all good. They're besties. Who cares? They're much better now. Wonderful. Um, uh, Danny being physically blocked by Jax during the last part of the season. I like there was a little bit of a smirk both off of Andy and Jax when he said blocked by Jax. Like for that.
Shout out. That's an account. I mean,
I
we
know.
pride
That account
ourselves
is
on having been blocked by Jax over
blocked by
here.
Jax. Yeah.
Everyone's aware of that account. And I'm so glad that, yeah, I was proud, happy for them when Andy, it's like in the pump sphere.
Exactly. But Danny announcing that he slept with his staff, and then a bunch of people were like, yeah, it was a rumor, and Jack's acting like all innocent. I was like, you're such a fucking of course you slept. Of course you slept with somebody. Like, I don't care. Like, you totally slept with somebody. Like,
Did that segment, did that conversation feel like edited down?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
Yeah.
You would know. That's why I'm like, it felt like, and they were quick to just wrap it up and move on.
I mean, I wonder if somebody's name was said, you know, but granted, you could bleep that name out, but it did because it probably was a lot of nothing. It's probably a nothing burger in that sense of like it didn't go anywhere and it was just a bunch of like rumors flying back and forth and like Jack's denying, and it probably just didn't add anything to the story. So it was like, well, let's just put a little bit of it in there and let's take it out. And that's what happens a lot with TV shows, is that you would say like, oh, well, I wish I knew about that. And I was like, well, it didn't really add anything to the whole narrative of the stories. So you would just have this like little bit dropped in and then you'd be like, oh, that's it. And I'd be like, yeah, that's really it.
And I wonder if they've edited it down. That sounded edited. I'm like, no. Edited it down in retrospect that Jack, the bar has closed. This would have been a bigger story if Jax and Brittany, in another season, if Jax and Brittany were still married. But it's like, okay, the bar's closed, your marriage is over. We're going to spend 30 minutes of TV time about who slept with who.
Yeah. I wish we had a little bit more about like how Jesse's girlfriend showed up to the end of the Zen Party and then apparently got into an altercation with Michelle, like a screaming match, which Michelle will not talk about on advice of counsel, like because the girlfriend threatened legal action. Man,
that I caught, and I was like, it sounds like this was not the same cease and desist she threatened them with from earlier in this season. This was something, I mean, Michelle during the season, she would talk about the other woman, just like I'm saying. There, she shut down. She was like, on advice of my attorney.
Yeah. I mean, Michelle really didn't talk about the girlfriend very much. She just was like, she threatened me with a cease and desist, and basically was like,
right.
That was the most. But like, but yeah, but I find it very interesting that like Jesse tries to defend his girlfriend, but Andy's like having none of it. Andy was like, yeah, because he's like, she showed up. Andy's like, she showed up to an all cast event and made a legal threat. And Jesse was like pissed off that they picked up cameras and put a boom over their head as soon as she walked in. And Andy said, as they should have. They were doing their job. And he said, and if your girlfriend showed up today, this is a hot set. I would put a mic on her and get her out here. And I was like, ooh, Daddy Andy laying down the law. And Jesse looked like a little like whipped puppy dog right there. I just was like, ooh, somebody got spanked. I loved it. Because I also think that in a sense, like only Andy could like put that down on him. I don't even think probably Jeremiah Smith could have put that down on him. I think it had to come from like Andy Cohen or like one of the higher up execs at Bravo or NBC Universal to be like, no. But that was like that wasn't even just like it was public. It was a public verbal spanking.
Right.
And I'm here.
That I mean,
that was hot. That was hot, Andy.
Do you think? I mean, the way Andy popped off on that, I wonder if Bravo, the way they're dancing around that this freshest cease and desist, the newest one that had Michelle. I wonder if Bravo received it, if everyone got a threat from, because Andy clearly is not amused by Jesse, and that scene he like laid into him like a housewife he's about to fire, like you can leave if you don't want your girlfriend. So I'm just wondering, like you said, the editing, maybe that's why certain things were cut away.
Maybe. I mean, also it could, she might have like gotten mouthy with, if she got mouthy with the crew, if she got verbally aggressive with the crew, then they're not going to take that. Like production would have been like, you're not treating our crew this way. We are here to do a job. And you came into our job. Like you came into our place of work and then are throwing a fit. Like, come the fuck on.
Oh yeah. I mean, Andy nailed it. I mean, he said, when he said, I thought cameras were off or something, he was like, this was a live cast event with the whole crew there. So
exactly. Like, stop acting like it was like kind of a perfect example of like Jesse trying to lie of like, cameras are down. No. You guys are being so mean to my girlfriend. And I was like, I think your girlfriend sounds like an asshole. She sounds like a litigious asshole that thinks that like she probably can like, she's got like, that she can just like throw around cease and desist or throw around some like legal mumbo jumbo, and that like that she can threaten people with it. And NBC Universal Bravo are like, excuse me, honey, we got bigger lawyers than you. Again, why would a fucking lawyer be on this show when you've got like one of the largest media groups in the world and their legal team that can come after you? Don't fuck with them, honey. Don't fuck with them on set.
How many lawsuits against Bravo have
come and gone?
I mean, the only one I could think of, and it's never been confirmed, we could kind of assume that perhaps Nene did get a settlement. Nene Leakes, the way they parted ways without a word. Everyone else, Bethany's Reality Reckoning, starring Bethany. Who else was there? Brandy. Then you have on the other side, you have Caroline Manzo. I mean, these are all just.
I thought you said Carol lying Manzo.
Okay, the reason I paused was because I almost said Carol Radswell. That's why I was like, like physically had to be like, wait. But yeah. No, I mean, these contracts are ironclad, and they have all those things. They have the clauses so you can't sue. There's like all kinds of things in there. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So be sure that you really want to sell your soul to a media company if you want to be on reality
If
television.
you could just threaten Bravo with legal action, do you know how boring Housewives would be? Because some of them, even the most powerful housewives, most powerful people on Bravo who can afford the very best lawyers, if they could get Bravo to shut something down with a legal letter, we've seen it all play out. We know they can't get them to stop.
Exactly. Well, and Kristen said it best. She's like, can we just like not do this in season 3? Like no like threatening to sue anybody, like no like legal action stuff, like shutting stuff down. And I was like, there we go. That's it. Exactly. Because that's
Yeah.
no fun. It's no fun. Right Time Magazine, shut up.
How about next season? Because there should be one. There will be one.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get written up in Time Magazine if you're a loser of a show. Maybe Time Magazine needs to, like, I don't know, get a subscription to Disney Plus or something because they clearly can't handle this masterpiece.
No, they cannot handle it at all. At all. All right.
Well,
Well, besides that, then they just have final thoughts and then mocktails and baby bottles.
yeah.
I'm cool with that. That's fun.
Yeah.
I just hope I feel like they've picked up cameras, but I don't know if they picked up cameras.
We are
Maybe.
well into summer.
Mm-hmm. I remember
Tricky.
August. People are going back to school now, so yeah,
That's scary.
Although maybe they pushed it because of babies.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because I mean, we're gonna want to capture Kristen as as a new mom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe you should just ask your best friend Alex Baskin. Alex, give us a call.
Yeah.
Tell us what's up.
Slide into our DMs here.
Yep.
No, also, I don't know where I'm going. I'm going to try to find some segue into subscribe. Subscribe, follow, make sure this is the last episode of The Valley for the moment. So for this season. So make sure to head on over to Real Housewives of Orange County by PCP on Mondays.
Yep. We'll try to get some other episodes out during the week. But remember, we also work full-time jobs on top of watching Bravo and recording these episodes and editing them and publishing them.
But if you guys have something you'd like us to shine some light on, given our insider experiences and knowledge, let us know, because we're thinking up bonus episodes, fun things you guys want to hear.
Exactly. Put it in the comments on YouTube, put it in the comments on Spotify too. So we'll check those out. And like, we're trying to brainstorm and aggregate and everything like that and get that together.
We would make it a segment called Let's Talk About. Let's
talk about the husband. Let's talk about the... Yeah, let's do that. I like that. I like that. Good. Look at that, Jordan. Write that down so we don't forget about it.
Yeah. On that note, adios.